Alright, welcome back. Right now, let's create the inventory icon. Okay, so I already have it. Create the widget called inventory icon. In here, let's add a button. Wrap the button with a scale box, and wrap it again with a size box. And then for the size box, let's make it 100 by 100. 100, 100. And the button, let's make it a box, and then another box. Okay, so for the styling, copy this. For the normal, paste it here. No, the 10. Let's paste it on the 10. Yep. So here's the code. It is 040404, and I don't know if this is a C. CC. Yep, here we go. Boom. Voila. And then for the hover, let's copy this. Hover. The 10. Paste this. Speed it up a little bit. So it is 191515F. Okay. I think I'm gonna try this color on the other the equipment side. And for the press, we're also going to do the tint. Paste it. And voila. Okay. So next, what we're going to do, we need to go back to the player character. Let me create a category for these. Call it inventory. And simply add these in here. We need a variable of the item info, right? But it needs to be an array. The inventory. And the type, it's the item info, right? And if you right click here, you can turn it into array. And let's make it replicated. If you get this, just press it again, compile it again. And then we need another one for the inventory size, right? Make it an integer. Press it again. Default to 36 slots to start with. Okay, so now what we need to do is inside of the inventory, we need to go to the graph and remove the event tick. Remove that boy. Remove pre-construct. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I say get player pawn, and we need to cast it to, I name my character JC character, right? We need to promote this to a variable, call it character F. And what I like to do, I like to clap these to a macro. Where is it? Where are you? Yep, here we go. And say, no, wrong. That's not what I'm trying to do. I need to get this and say is valid, right? And then let's take a reference of this instead. Say it's valid, right? And I just claps this to a macro. Call it is player valid. So that way I don't have to keep saying, oh, if this character is valid, do this, blah blah. Right? I can just grab this, the return value. Nope. And also return the character because we might need some stuff from it. Later on, we're not going to cast do a lot of things. We're gonna use the interface for performance reason, and you can just delete this for now. Right? Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna create a function called build inventory. And right away, I'm going to call it here, build inventory. Okay. So now let's go back to the front, to the designer for a little bit. And in the middle, the border, right? Let's add a scroll box. Because later on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can allow the player to upgrade the inventory size. Okay, so we need a uniform grid panel. Add it to this. Make sure it's left. Excuse me, and call it grid panel. Right, and make it a variable. So on the build inventory, right, we need to grab the grid panel and we need to clear it. Clear children. Because if you don't, every time you open the inventory, it's just gonna keep stacking inventory on top of it. Keep stacking. Okay, so we need a few variables. We need an integer variable, an integer called row, right? And we need another one, column, another one, row size, and compile and save and default this to 6 or however much you need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however much you need. So first thing, let's set the row to 0, because so that way every time I create the widget, it started at 0. Also the column at 0, right? So we need to get a for loop, and from the player reference we say we need to get the and get inventory size. All right, if you highlight your nodes and you hit Q, it will straighten the code for you. And because arrays start at 0 and we need to remove, let's say for example you had 36, right? So what would happen is for the loop, it would actually give you 37. So we need to subtract 1 out of this, right? So we can get the exact number. And then for the first index, you keep it at 0, and the last index will be the return value of the inventory size. Okay. And then we're also going to get the inventory itself, right? Come on, get inventory. Click on that. And then what we need to do, we need to get a copy inventory at the specific index, right? So, and for loop, for the number of time is looping through this. So for example, it loop to it 36 times, we need to create a widget for every single one of them. So we'll do 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 like that. So we need to create widget, right? And the widget that we're trying to create, it is the inventory icon. So inventory icon, and this node is X. Okay, so get player controller, right? And then, oh, okay, I forgot one thing. In the inventory icon, we need to go to the graph and we need to add a variable called item info of the type item info, right? Okay. And let's also add the index, item index. We're gonna need these later on. Okay. Yeah. So here in the return value, we're gonna set the item info, right, to the value of index of the inventory. So for example, let's say the inventory have 36. So say this will be 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So we need the exact button we click, we need the index of it. So if we click the 0, this we need the index will be, we need the index of the 0. So if we click 1, we need the index 1 2 3, so on and so forth. Okay, and we also need to set the index. So set item index to the index of this loop, right? And then we get the grade and we say add child to uniform grade, right? So we plug in the row and plug in the column, right? So now when it goes from 1 2 3 4 5 6, we need to increase the column, right? So we get the column and we type in. Okay, so we need to check the value, see if the number of row that we have match the row size that we specify, right? So we say if it's greater or equal to the row size, need a branch. If it is, we're gonna set the column again to 0, and then we're gonna get the row and we're gonna increment the row, right? Increment, oh, crazy. Increment the row. So if I did everything correct, we should have something, but we do not. Okay, I'm back. I find out why. The reason why, it's because I forgot to plug in the return value to the content, and also on the designer tab, on the grade, we need to add a slot padding of 3, and the min desired slot width will be 110 by 110. And also, now if you go take a look at it, also that's the color I was looking for these. Okay, so we can simply copy the color and then plug it here, and we are golden. And also let me reduce the size to 780, and because let's do 760 like that. It's, yeah, perfect, 760. And then we get something like this. Okay, so behind the scene, I'm going to redo the coloring of these. Okay, and then yeah, so I'll see you on the next one. In the next one. Sorry, my English is terrible.